Study medicine at Tvildiani Medical University in Georgia. Testimonial by Dr. Ganesh Narayanan.
Hello, my name is Ganesh. I am a fifth year student here at DTMU. I am originally from India, but I was born and raised in Kuwait. I've been here for the past 5 years now.
First of all, please tell us the reason why you decided to study in Georgia at Tvildiani Medical University.
So there are like two reasons, I would say, one being a serious one and a very serious one being a silly one. So in case of the serious one, I would say, so as I said earlier, I was born and raised in Kuwait, so I never really was interested in studying medicine in India per se. So I was looking at options where I could pursue my higher career, my higher education. And out of all the options, I had like several options in mind. And out of everything, after shortlisting everything, I realized Georgia being the better one, where first of all, there's a huge diaspora of Indian students present here. So because of which it would not be very difficult for me to get used to living here. Secondly, being, well, you could say kind of like a developed country, more in the upper developing country, it would be more easier to the way I grew up in compared to how I grew up. So these being the major reasons. And when choosing DTMU as well, I had an acquaintance who told that compared to other universities here at DTMU, the education over here is a bit more strict. So they focus mainly on educating, and they're a bit more strict when it comes to like education and how you present yourself in class, and how basically they teach everything is up par with the, you could say like modern development or like modern, you could say, strategies. So thinking about all of these things and taking everything into consideration, all the different parameters, I decided to choose DTMU as my final university to be here. So this is after thorough, you could say like kind of like research and thorough, you could say like consideration of different universities, I decided to come here at DTMU.
Are you satisfied with quality of education at DTMU? Also, please tell us about practical component of studies and about lab facilities too.
All right. So in the case of my education experience here, so my first year, I joined here during COVID. So the first semester was kind of online for me. So, but however, when I came here, we had like lab experiences. So initially, when I first came here, when everything, well, the lockdown was lifted and everything was open, we had our microbiome lab experiment, and also we had different. Right now, we also have a cardio lab as well. So I had to attend all of these lab facilities. So in this university is divided into basic science as well as clinical science. So in case of basic science, after 2.5 years, you have filters exams. So like the thing over here, it's more systematic. So the education over here is a bit more, you could say like very thorough. So they have like proper curriculum, they have proper syllabus, and they have everything is like very systematic and orderly compared to most universities that I've come across here in Georgia. And also about the lab experiences over here in the basic science is really good, where they give good exposure. And also when you compare with the clinical science, once you finish your 2.5 years, you go into your clinical science after your filters. So in the clinical science as well, you have your everyday patient exposure. You have you visit hospitals where for each module, like over here, how the syllabus is based on the module system. So you start a module and you study all the subjects pertaining to the module. So when I started my clinical science almost 2 years ago, we have everyday patient interaction. So we see patients every day, we study a topic. And if there are patients who are pertaining, or like who presents with such presenting illness which is pertaining to the topic, we see patients and we discuss the diagnostic test. And most of the professors, they give their patient chart to us, and we try to come into a conclusion or like a possible diagnosis. So the clinical science, both the basics and the clinical science is pretty good here.
From this perspective, do you think you made a good choice, and did DTMU meet your expectations? How hard do you find studying in DTMU?
Okay, first of all, to answer the latter part, it does meet the expectations. It absolutely does meet the expectation. And I would say if any student is having, like the skepticism that, or are you ready to put in this much effort, or is it very difficult, then I would say medicine, you have to think twice before coming to medicine, because medical education is such that you will have challenges every day. It's a very developing and evolving field where you have new advancements every single day. So the thing is, it is like everything is difficult. Medical education in general is difficult, but it's doable. And when it comes to DTMU, students may find it difficult because of like how orderly and thorough every subject is, and how the teaching in basic science and clinical science is. So when I started with basic science, it was a lot more difficult for me to get adjusted to it, because coming from high school all the way to university, it was a huge leap. You could say it was a huge change. So initially it was difficult for me to get used to it, but eventually once you start, like studying, and once you start getting a proper syllabus or proper, you could say, like study pattern, it would be easy for you to keep in par. The thing is, you also have to be in tandem with like the everyday topic. You can't lag behind, you can't skip classes, or you can't even like fall through. So if you do, then it will be much difficult for you to cover up. So if you're in up to the mark, or if you're along with the lane, then I would say it's much more easier. And it is worth it. Definitely it is worth it. DTMU does give you one of the best experiences both when it comes to theory and practical both. And I would say like it did meet my expectation.
Please share with us your experience of living in Georgia. Also, please address briefly to the interested applicants planning to come to Georgia for studies.
All right, so living here in Georgia, it is, I would say initially it was bittersweet because I did miss my family a lot. I was homesick, but eventually once I started living here, I realized I did fall in love with the country. It is an amazing country compared to how I grew up. I grew up in a country where you have a huge Indian population, Indian diaspora. So similarly over here as well, you have Indian students, a lot of Indian students. So getting, you could say, accustomed to this living was not very difficult for me because people are very welcoming here, first of all. And secondly, you also have a large number of students who can also help you, be it your seniors or fellow other students from universities. They're also there to help you through it. And it was not difficult, I would say. It was changed. It was definitely different, but it was not difficult is what I would say. And right now living here, I am liking it here, and it's just that 5 years have passed through very quickly, and I just have a year more left here. And for the students who are planning to come to Georgia, I would say, well, the thing is, it will be different for you because how you grew up and how you're going to live here, it is going to be different. But like a change is good for everyone. So I would say keep an open mind and open heart, and you'll be happy here. It's an amazing country.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.